Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a tutorial on this look that I am wearing. I did play with some color today and I have found a way to do that because I am not a colorful eye look person. I don't like it. I do like to have pops of color though in my palettes just to look at because they're pretty, but I don't actually like to play with color. So I actually found a way that will work for me so that I can throw in some pops of color. I like to put it also on the lower lash line. I like to keep a clean, bright sort of inner half of my eye because I've really been into this eye contouring technique as of late, and so I like to have a structured, more inner corner up in through the crease, and I've been using a lot of bronzers and contours to do that. And I'm loving the look. It just kind of all meshes together when you contour a little bit on your nose and when you throw some bronzer on your face and you use it in your transition shade. It's just a beautiful mesh and you just kind of get that lit from within look. And I am all about it. I use the Dominique Latte palette today. It is stunning. It's a gorgeous palette. As soon as I opened this, I was like, oh my God, what took me so long to get it? I had to wait for Sephora to restock and then I picked it up. It's beautiful. Oh my gosh. Okay, if you guys want to see how I got this look and all about my eye contouring as of late, then just keep watching. And if you're new here, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell right next to it so you'll be notified of all of my future uploads. And without further ado, let's just get into it. Alright guys, so the first thing I'm going to do is draw my fake crease. And I've already primed my eyes and I set that primer with some translucent powder. Using the Dominique palette, I'm going to go into the shade Pumpkin Spice. I always like to use kind of a rustic orangey, I guess, shade to draw the crease because when I go in there with my bronzer, it really just warms it up. And anyway, it's my favorite shade to draw my crease with. I'm going to map it out first by just placing a little dot, little line right on top of the encroaching skin fold right here. And you just want to kind of, with your eyes open, you just want to make sure that they're both even. And if your eyes are not exactly the same, 100% Siamese twins, well then, which mine are not identical twins. So I'm going to go ahead and pretty much draw this line and follow my natural crease and just pretty much right on top of the encroaching skin fold. I'm taking it from the inner corner all the way out. And it's kind of in a little half moon shape. Kind of hard to talk through this step, but this is what it looks like. And same with this side here. Let me get in there. And then once I get it drawn, then I have to go back in and make a few adjustments and clean up the line. This is a Sigma EO6 winged liner brush. I don't know if I mentioned that, but it's what I always use when I draw my fake crease. And it's about 2 to 3 millimeters above your natural crease. And when you look straight ahead, you want to be able to see that. And I like to draw the fake crease because it just gives me an outline of where to place the shadow. Sometimes I will go in and work just kind of freehand and, you know, place my transition shade or whatever. But I just feel like I get a much more precise application when I draw the crease, and it just kind of gives an outline, just the same way the brows shape the face. I feel like the fake crease really kind of shapes the eye for me. I'm using a Morphe, this is an M210, and I'm just gonna, not with anything on it, I'm just gonna kind of clean up the line in case it, sometimes it gets a little jaggedy and I just want to kind of clean it up. Now I'm going to go ahead and put in my brow bone shade here, and I'm just using a bone color shade. This is the It Cosmetics. What is this? This is the Naturally Pretty Essentials, and I'm just going to take a mixture of these two shades right here. One is a bone shade and the other is kind of an ivory shade, and I'm just going to dust this really lightly. I'm also bringing it down a ways so that my transition shade can kind of blend into it. It's what I always do. All right, so I'm going to start with the You Sculpt It palette from It Cosmetics, and I'm going to take this shade right here, which is the light contour, and probably a mixture of the soft contour and the light, and I'm going to start. This is going to be my transition shade, but I'm also going to kind of take this up a little bit higher, and I'm going to kind of contour down through the nose, which is kind of the same thing that I did last time. I've really been into this technique lately, and I just feel like whenever I use a bronzer in my crease, it just really kind of meshes everything together, and I am really into bronzers, so it's a technique that is totally up my alley. And I'm going to do like I always do, just kind of lay it down, and then I'm going to start to blend it, and I'm going to kind of follow the shape of the natural line and my natural crease that I've got going on. So I'm kind of going right underneath. I'm kind of going right in this socket line area here, and I'm going to take this kind of high up, so it's going to go kind of above the fake crease that I drew, and it's going to kind of come down and through here. And then I'm going to kind of slide it kind of down. I'm going to do a little nose contouring here as well. I'm going to pick up just a tiny bit more color, and then I'm going to go ahead and blend this out. I like to lean my head back so I can really get in there and see that socket line, because I do have hooded eyes. I feel like if you have hooded eyes, it really kind of helps to kind of lean back so that you can see where you're placing your shadows, because you want to be able to see them when your eyes are open. All right, I'm going to take this, I think this is the number, yeah, it's the JH36. I'm going to take a tiny bit of the white matte highlight, and I'm just going to blend this now. You can just use a clean brush. Sometimes I like to. All right, so I'm going to go back into the light contour, and I'm going to take a little bit of this medium contour now, because I'm going to start to add a little bit of depth. I'm using a Morphe M441 for this. Same thing, I'm just going to lay it down. And then I'm going to start to kind of map out the shape that I want going. I'm going to use the sculpting brush that it came with, and I'm going to start to kind of contour down through my nose so that there's some continuity there. I'm going to take, I think, a little bit of the soft contour and the light. Just so I can kind of blend out the shade that I brought in through the transition shade. All right, so now I'm going to bring some depth and dimension into the crease. I'm going to use a Sigma E32, and I'm going to take a little bit of this pumpkin spice mixed with hazelnut, and I'm going to start to define the crease. I want to bring some depth in, but I don't want to go too deep. I'm going to follow along the shape of the fake crease that I drew, so I'm just going to kind of lay this color down. Right on that fake crease. Go into Mocha, and I'm going to take this Morphe E36. It's a little tiny bullet brush, very dense. It's got a little bit of stiffness to it. And I'm just going to define the crease that I drew a little bit more. I don't want to go in too deep, but I do want to get some definition in there. Crease is getting pretty warmed and defined over here. Now I'm going to take a bone color shade here. I'm going to go back into the It Cosmetics, and this is just my Kevyn Aucoin concealer brush, and I'm going to start to map out my lid space. So I'm just going to clean it up here. And I am going to be using some color today, and you guys know me, I'm not a big fan of color. I like to have all the beautiful shades though in my palettes just to look at. I don't really like to use any of them. But we're going to do some color today. I'm going to have to figure out what exactly. Me, I would just leave it exactly like this. I would probably throw on a little bit of shimmer on the lid and leave it just like this. But we're gonna go ahead and, oh, I forgot to do my lower lash line as always. All right, I'm gonna go back in and I'm just going to go in reverse and put in my bronzer shade and just go in reverse and put back in all of the shades that oh, I'm loving this so much. I just really want to throw on some macchiato and call it a day because that's totally me. This is eye contouring, shimmer on the lid, put me in coach, I'm ready to play. But I did say I was going to play with some color today, so I guess I'm going to go into double shot here. And thanks to the P. Louise and the packing technique, like many of us, we first seen this with Mitchell on Instagram. And he's really big on the packing technique and just kind of tapping out the edges to blend out the color. So that's pretty much what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and pack this on the outer lid here. I hope you guys know I'm breaking out in hives right now because, like, I do not like to play with color. I just like to have them in the palette to look at. I don't really like to use them. I know, right? Oh, God. All right, I'm just going to pack this on the outer. I want to get maximum pigmentation on this color before I go to blend out the edges. All right, so I have a little bit of MAC Fix Plus on this. This is a cream shadow brush from Bobbi Brown. I'm going to take Macchiato, and I'm going to take this on the front half of my lid. You guys know I like a really bright inner half. I like a really bright lid to begin with, but if I'm going to use color. All right, I'm going to dip into, I'm going to put some MAC Fix Plus, and I'm going to dip into my BH Cosmetics Wild Child palette. Looks like this. And I'm going to take one of these purpley baked eyeshadows here, and I'm going to just lay it on top of this purple. All right, now that my shimmer is dry, I'm gonna go back into the Tarte Spotlight palette, and I'm gonna take on the MAC 221, I'm gonna take that bronzer, and I'm just going to go over right on the border. I always call it the border. It's where the shimmer ends and the crease shades start, just to kind of make sure that everything is nice and meshed. I dipped back into the BH Cosmetics palette Wild Child and took a little bit of this bright white shade, white pearly shade, and just tapped it into the inner corner. And just to tie the look together, I'm going to take a little bit of this bronzer and give my face a little dusting. Whew. I just love this Morphe setting spray. All right, you guys, thank you so much for watching it. That completes the eye look. And I have to say, if I have to work with color, just a tiny, tiny little pop of color on the outer lid, maybe a little bit on the lower lash line, maybe a little swipe on the inner corner, although I really like a light inner half because I'm really liking the eye contouring going on. So yeah, if I have to work with color, this is the way to do it. All right, thank you guys so much for watching, and that completes the look. I love you guys. Mwah! I will see you in my next one. Bye.